Why does the church not teach on the four gospels, rather only on topics? Very interesting. The gospel was born amidst the uncertain, cruel, oppressive, and evil times of history, overthrowing the pharaonic fantasies of holding power forever. How can this be a message, encouragement, criticism for the church in India today? How do we draw lessons from then and there in Gospels to here and now? From then and there to here and now in our Indian context, especially in understanding some passages which are grounded in Jewish culture and Judaism?
Wow, those are very good questions, Pastor. I think one of the questions was, why does the church not preach from the Gospels? I think there are preachers who do focus on preach through a gospel and try to bring out some of the special characteristics that are there in each gospel. As I said earlier, and we will be looking at that in the second part, each gospel has its own, texture, shape, and taste. But I think it is easier to preach from passages or themes or topics. Suppose I want to talk about forgiveness, so I'll find a passage here and there. So I think it's easier to do that. But I would like to challenge any of my friends who are pastors who are listening to this. I would like to challenge them. Take time to study the Gospels as a gospel, each gospel separately, and maybe attempt to preach maybe 5 or 10 messages through each gospel. That will really challenge them, but it will also help people to get a good feel for each gospel. And so I would like to challenge my pastor friends to do that. The other question about the gospel came in the context of oppressive regimes like pharaonic words. That was a very well-framed question. Yes, the gospel we preach, that Jesus is Lord, challenges every oppressive kingdom. If you remember, in the book of Acts, chapter 17, for example, when Paul is at Thessalonica, what is his message? Paul's basic message is always Jesus is Kurios, is Lord. And the only other person at that time who's called Lord in that way is the Roman Emperor, Caesar. So are you saying somebody else is there? And whenever they preach Jesus is Lord, very easily you could turn it around and make the gospel speakers as anti-national, anti-empire. Sure enough, in Acts 17 we read, the people said they are preaching that there is another Caesar, another Lord. So the gospel always challenges all regimes. And that is what Jesus has said. And Jesus has begun the work of the kingdom. Every single oppressive regime, I'm going to preach now, is going to come down. I know they are still there right now, but a time will come when Jesus comes and every regime will be flattened. And so we will then see the kingdom of God in all its fullness. And let me say this, therefore, not only does the gospel that we preach, that the kingdom has come and is coming, challenge all oppressive regimes, but a questioner also asked about, what about the church? Yes, of course. This message is a double-edged sword. It's going to challenge us and all our kingdoms, if we have, that is being built without a foundation of Christ. So I would say, yes, we need to preach this gospel of God's kingdom has come. I think the other question was more about, how do we apply something that was given in a very clearly Jewish context? We are not Jews. We are here in India. How does it apply to us? And that is where the challenge of interpretation or application comes. First of all, we must work hard to understand what is the message. Understand that. And then how does it apply? I believe that once we have grappled properly with the historical particularity of the Gospels, what is happening there, Jesus is with the Samaritan woman, for example, or Jesus touches the leper, the outcast, or Jesus is sitting and eating with those that religious people don't want to sit with. After we understand that, we then work at how does it have a contemporary relevance? And I believe the scriptures always have a contemporary relevance to every century and to our time, our culture. Maybe just an example, how Jesus dealt with women. He pushed beyond the barriers that were there. How Jesus talked about the Samaritans. For example, he made the Samaritan the hero of a story in Luke chapter 10. And he told the story to the Jews who hated Samaritans. So we realize that Jesus was pushing the boundaries because he believed that in the kingdom of God, we all are one. That's a challenge to our Indian culture and aspects of Indian culture where we think of some people as being superior to others. So there are plenty of places where I think the gospel comes and cuts through our culture and our practices. So showing us this is the kingdom life. This is how we live in the kingdom.